everyone, I thought I'd give you an update. I know it's been quite a long time since I did my last video. My last video was what, beginning of December? It's now the 21st, so I do apologise for it being so long. With Christmas and everything, we've been wrapping presents, writing out cards, so it's just been quite a bit of a busy time, so I haven't had time to update any videos, so I do apologise for that. Anyway, my video today might be a bit long because I will be telling you about how my egg collection went and my embryo transfer and everything as well as the dreaded 2-week wait. To begin with, I haven't done my pregnancy test yet. That is due tomorrow, which is the 22nd. But don't worry, I will be doing an update video with how everything went with regards to that. Anyway, sorry if I keep looking down. I've got my diary with everything wrote down because I couldn't remember everything if I tried because my memory is shot to bits. Egg collection wasn't too bad. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. Well, we got to the hospital, it was on the 5th of December, and we got to the hospital about 6:35 in the morning. So we had to get up at like 4 o'clock, so we were completely knackered, and I was starving and really thirsty because obviously you're not allowed to eat or drink when you go in to have that down. So yeah, we got to the hospital about 6:35 and we were shown to our room for the day on the ward for about 7:05. So we were just kind of had our own like little room to spend the day, and James could go there. My husband James can go there when he'd done his part and wait for me to come back. So we had our own like bathroom, and there was a bed and everything and a TV, which wasn't too bad. Before I went to the hospital, what I'd done is I just put some Emla cream on my hand there, the stuff I showed you, the numbing cream. I just put some on my hand because I knew they were going to put an IV line in, because that's how they administer the anaesthetic, as well as any painkillers or anything as well. So I just did that to help because I'm not very good with injections and I haven't had one in my hand since I was about 8 years old. I was taken down, I mean James, my husband, he had gone off and done his part before I even got taken down to theatre, because what they like to do is they like to check, make sure the sperm's okay, wash it, clean it and get that all set. I had to change, before I went down to theatre, I had to change into a lovely hospital gown, you know, one of those lovely little backless ones. I brought my own dressing gown with me. It was my husband's dressing gown. It was like this big Jedi dressing gown, so it was nice and warm and cosy. And they told us to bring my own slippers as well. And I bought a pair of nice comfy cosy socks with me because I wanted to keep my feet nice and warm. So they let me wear that. So they came and got me about 8:15 in the morning to be taken down to theatre because I've got a slight latex allergy. They wanted me to be seen or done first. So they took me down about 8:15. And I remember they took off my dressing gown, I took off my slippers, but I got to keep my socks on. The lady undone my my gown at the back and got me to lie on the bed with the gown open at the back. And all I can remember is lying down in the bed, being my arm kind of hanging out the side, like this one was hanging out the side, and they tucked me up in this really comfy bed, and there was like a nice big duvet over the top, so it was lovely and warm. And the last thing I can remember was a lady slapping my hand, the anaesthetist kept continuously slapping my hand to get the vein. And I couldn't feel the IV going at all. That was completely fine. But I remember there was like 5 people around the bed. So I had an anaesthetist on one side with the nurse kind of holding my arm and everything. I had another lady this side, 2 men down at the bottom, which was including our consultant as well, who would be doing the egg retrieval. So it was kind of an interesting thing. Yeah, as I said, I didn't feel the IV going in, but I could feel the lady slapping my hand continuously trying to find the vein. And I can remember the consultant asking my full name and my date of birth, just for data protection and everything. And the last thing I remember is saying that I had a really bad taste in my mouth. Like a really bitter metallic taste, and I was like, oh, this is horrible, and they're like, that's okay. And that's it. That's the last thing I remember. And then I woke up and the first thing I said was, I have a bad taste in my mouth. So they said that was the anaesthetic, the medication they used. It was still kind of there in my mouth, but they left me in the recovery room for a little bit just to kind of make sure that I was okay, that I wasn't going to pass out or anything. And I kept asking, oh, did everything go okay? Obviously at that time they couldn't tell me how many eggs or anything were retrieved. So yeah, I just kept saying, is everything okay? But I actually got taken back up to the room in the bed by about 8:45. So I went down to theatre at 8:15. Half an hour later I was back in my room. That's how quick it was, and that includes recovery time as well, which I was very, very surprised by. I mean, I know that it was going to be quite quick, and I just felt quite groggy, so I was very sleepy, but not in a sense that I wasn't aware. I was aware almost instantly what was going on around me. I can remember it vividly, everything, because I can remember another woman being wheeled past me in the recovery room that had also had her egg retrieval. Because when we went there was about 9 other couples going in for their egg retrieval the same day, so quite a busy day for them by the looks of it. And all I can remember is saying, oh, I hope the other lady's okay, I hope everything's alright. And they're like, oh, that's sweet. But yeah, I said I got up to my room about 8:45 and I was just so thirsty. I just wanted to drink. I ended up, they said they want you to drink and go to the toilet and everything before you leave. And they had like one of these little jugs about that big, probably about a litre if that, and I must have drunk about 2.5 of those. I was so thirsty, and they just kept passing me glasses with a straw and I kept sipping lots of water, and I was just so thirsty, so be prepared for that. Before I'd gone down to theatre, they had asked us they'd shown us a menu and asked us what we wanted for lunch, and then they kept asking me, oh, are you hungry yet? Are you hungry yet? Because they want you to eat as well before you go. I think I ended up choosing a sausage muffin. It wasn't too bad, it was quite nice for hospital food. Again, it is a private hospital, so you can imagine the food's a lot nicer. And I ate that and I kept feeling hungry, so I wanted to eat more. I was just even more hungry, but yeah, because I hadn't eaten anything since like 11 o'clock the night before, and I was just so hungry. So we had then the long wait to find out how many eggs they had retrieved or how the sperm were and everything. So we were waiting there. I ended up reading a magazine. I took a magazine with me to look at, and I was watching TV as well, just to keep me occupied. I did feel quite sore and crampy, almost like a period pain, but not extreme or super painful. It was just kind of uncomfortable. It was like every time you moved it was just a little bit sore. So yeah, as I said, we went back to my room about 8:45, and I think the embryologist and the ward nurse had come around about 11:30, 12 o'clock, something like that, and they told us that they managed to retrieve it was either from 4 follicles, 4 full-size follicles, or 4 big follicles and 1 tiny follicle, but they managed to retrieve 5 mature eggs. So all 5 of them were mature, which we were ecstatic about because we were expecting only 4. And they also told us that once they had concentrated down my husband's sperm and washed it and chosen all the best ones out of it, there was actually 5 million sperm left out from what sample he had produced. So we were really ecstatic about that, and they said that the embryologists were then in the process of doing the ICSI procedure, where they actually inject the sperm into the egg. So they said they were going to go and do that. We ended up leaving the hospital after I'd got dressed and everything about 12:45, so 1:45 in the afternoon, so we weren't there all day, and then all I can remember is feeling really hungry. So my husband, who was lovely and took me out to to a restaurant and I had a nice warm homemade soup and some chips because I fancied chips for some reason, and that was quite yummy. And then it was a case of, we came home, I put my feet up, I got a nice little blanket, and we ended up sitting down and watching a few films and TV and just really relaxing. As I just felt kind of crampy. I did take some more paracetamol, probably with my lunch, just to make sure everything was okay, just because I did feel quite crampy and sore, so it was just to help out. But that was the only time I had to take paracetamol at all. I recovered quite quickly from it, which I was quite surprised by. I was expecting to be quite sore for a while, but it wasn't too bad. And they gave me some suppositories to take home, which is lovely. So I had to take some progesterone suppositories, and I had to start taking that from the same day as the egg collection, so the night of the egg collection I had to do that. And I've had to be doing that ever since, so they expect you to do it with this particular one, because there's suppositories you have to do it twice a day. So I've been getting up about 8:30, popping one in, and either going back to bed or getting on with my day, however I feel. And then doing one about 8:30 at night. So I've been trying to keep it like 12 hours apart, so hopefully it will help. The following day I felt a little bit crampy, not too bad. It was just like a little bit sore, almost, as I said, almost like a period pain, but nothing too extreme, nothing I can handle. We got a call from our embryologist about 11:30 in the morning on the Saturday, so the day after the egg collection, and out of the 5 mature eggs, all 5 had fertilised. So every single one had fertilised, which was brilliant. So we were very happy with that. We were surprised. So they said they were going to give us a call the following day to tell us how everything was going. I had read on a few posts actually, because I've been doing lots of research into IVF and that, just to know what the best kind of things to do. That eating pineapple for 5 days following transfer, so the day after transfer, eating pineapples. So I went out and bought a pineapple ready to eat for my 5 days following egg transfer, or embryo transfer, sorry, because it had to be the whole. So you get a whole pineapple, cut it into 5, and you eat a slice a day, including the core, because there's a chemical or an enzyme inside the pineapple that can help with implantation. So I went out and did that. I thought there can be no harm in eating fresh fruit, so I just did that. So yeah, we went out and got a pineapple. So what I'd been doing is just resting, really, just putting my feet up. I went out for a little walk, nothing too extreme, just literally a walk to the shops and back, and put my feet up and rested again. With regards to the Sunday following egg retrieval, I had a bit of a funny tummy. It was just a bit sore, and I wasn't sure if it was suppositories or after effects of the egg retrieval, but I had a bit of a queasy tummy, so I didn't feel too good. Yeah, I should have said that we didn't get a call on the Sunday. They don't call you on day, it would have been the 2nd day? No, so I had my egg retrieval on the Friday, so they don't call you on the Sunday, not because they're not there, but because they tend to leave the embryos alone that day. But yeah, I had a funny tummy. I did have an afternoon nap. It was like only about 15 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. I was just really tired and I ended up falling asleep on the sofa. So I just had a nap when I felt like it. I couldn't stop thinking about our embryos in the lab. Like every time something crossed my mind, it was like I was just thinking about them. So I was like getting really excited. I just wanted to know how everything was going, because they were going to call us the Monday morning to tell us whether we were going to go on to do a day 3 transfer or day 5 transfer. So yeah, I was really excited. Again, carrying all the suppositories. On the Monday, which is the 8th, which would be day 3 of fertilisation, we got a call from our embryologist. 3 of the 5 embryos were at 8 cell division, and two of which of those 3 were top quality, so like A star or whatever. And then the other 2 embryos were only at 6 cell division, so they weren't going as quick. Because they wanted to put the best one in, and they just wanted to keep monitoring them to find out which one was going to be the best grade, because they want to put the best one in for you. They decided that they would let it go onto the blastocyte stage, just to see which would be the best one to go in. So we were having a day 5 transfer instead, so I'd have to wait till Wednesday, which was a little bit nerving, but I did too much information by the way. I had the constant feeling of needing to go to the toilet, and not front, back, unfortunately. That might be a side effect of the egg retrieval, but it could also be to do with the suppositories. I just had a feeling of constantly needing to be near the toilet. Luckily that has gone now. I don't have that feeling at the moment, so fingers crossed I won't have that feeling again. So yeah, again they said that the following day, the Tuesday, they weren't going to give us a call, because what they do between day 3 and day 5, they like to leave them alone to mature and do what they need to, and just carry on as they were. So I was getting really nervous on the Tuesday, which was 9th. I was just so nervous. I was like fingers crossed, hoping that our little embryos would be okay and that they would all make it to blastocyte stage. So I was just really, really nervous with all of that. And then finally our transfer came, which was Wednesday the 10th. So that would be on the 21st now, so 11 days ago was my transfer. And I was nervous as anything. I just completely just worried that I was going to do something wrong, or just, as I said, nervous as possibly could be. We were very, very nervous. I mean, my husband was shaking there next to me. We were both shaking. So we got to the hospital. Our transfer was at 10:30. Got to the hospital about, I think we got there about 10 o'clock, so half an hour early. And we didn't go in until about 10:45 because we were waiting for the consultant to come up who was going to do it. The procedure, we were shown into a room, and I was told just to remove my bottom half. I had a nice long cardigan on so I could keep my modesty. And they told me to lie back on a bed and then put my legs into stirrups, which was an interesting situation. I've never had my legs in stirrups before, so it was me laid on my back, legs in stirrups, and then they raised the table. So the bed or the table I was laying on, they raised me up so high that when the consultant was sat down, he had like a great view of everything, which was interesting. All I could see was my husband like down there, and I was like all the way up in the air. But before they did that, they did actually show us our little embryo on the screen that they chose to go back in. It was an early blastocyte. Let me just see if I can get... We did take pictures on our phones of them. We couldn't help. But they decided to only put one little one in, because that one was ready to go. I don't actually have a picture on here, but it is on my husband's phone. But I will post it inside the video if I can, probably around about this time. So yeah, we got to see our little embryo before they put it back in, and I was like in this room, and a little hatch opened, and the embryologist passed this long catheter, probably about that long, quite a long catheter, and it had our embryo in it. And they didn't use an ultrasound or anything, because during my egg retrieval, sorry, my husband didn't have an egg retrieval, that'd be a bit weird, they had already measured how far my womb was, so they didn't have to use an ultrasound guidance. But they put the speculum in, and it kind of really opened me up, and it was quite painful. And then they passed the catheter through. It took less than 5-10 minutes at most, and then they passed the catheter back through the hatch, and the embryologist checked to make sure that the embryo is no longer in there. And then they said, no, that's fine, you're okay. Your embryo's in there. They lowered the table down and I just sat there, kind of motionless. I was too scared to move. And the consultant, before he left, he was like, oh, think happy sticky thoughts. You got to think of your womb as a nice little sticky trap for your embryo. And I was like, oh, okay, nice. Is it okay to get up? Is it not going to fall out? And they're like, it's not going to fall out. You're going to be fine. You can just get up and do what you need to. So I slowly, like very, very slowly got off the table and went and got dressed again. And I was just there kind of cradling my tummy, like just being very, very cautious with how I was moving. I just got a bit nervous with everything. Because I don't like the idea of, even though it's an embryo, it's not classed as a baby yet, I didn't like the idea of calling our embryo it. To me, I'm trying to think of it in the idea that our embryo isn't an it. It is hopefully going to be our baby. So we've actually nicknamed our little embryo Spot, because Spot, tiny, about that stage that the embryo is about the size of a full stop, so called it a little Spot. I was told to carry on with my suppositories, which is the Cyclogest, until the pregnancy test, which is going to be Monday the 22nd of December, which is tomorrow. So yeah, very nervous for that. Had the dreaded 2-week wait. When we got home, what I'd also read is that it helps to kind of keep your blood flow going, so I wasn't going to do bed rest. I was going to take it easy, but I was not going to go on strict bed rest because, well, that can sometimes hurt your chances. So we went for a nice walk around the park with our little puppy, and I just got a bit of fresh air into me and it helped. Following day I went out for another walk. I just tried to do a walk rather than doing any exercise, and I just went for a walk. Before we left the hospital after our transfer, we saw the nurse briefly, and she told us what we could and couldn't do, or what I could and couldn't do with regard to everything. And she gave me a little patient information form, and it actually says on there, try and have today as a rest day, which I wasn't back in work until 3 days later anyway. Do not bathe today, but you can shower and go back to normal tomorrow. I haven't been having baths for a while now. I've just been having showers because I tend to have my baths quite hot and embryos don't like overheating. Avoid swimming pool if you would normally attend. Well, I can't swim, so that doesn't matter. Avoid becoming overheated, so no saunas, jacuzzi, sunbathe, and no heat pads on your tummy or anything like that. They also said avoid strenuous exercise and activities prior to your pregnancy test, so don't go out and start weightlifting or something. It's probably not a good idea. I was encouraged to continue drinking 2 litres of water daily and to eat a healthy diet, which hopefully I have been. I've kind of gone off carbs a little bit, so I'm not eating as much chips and potato products as usual. I usually bulk my plate up with broccoli, sprouts because it's Christmas, and cauliflower and things like that. Just lots of good quality fruits and vegetables, and I've been trying to eat mostly warm foods and drink mostly warm drinks to hopefully keep it quite warm in there, because hopefully little embryos like it nice and warm. This is a bit too much information. It is important to keep your bowels regular, so a high fibre diet with fruit and veg is important. Lactulose is available from all supermarkets and pharmacies, and it's safe to use in pregnancy to help prevent constipation. So yeah, just bear that in mind. I have been eating prunes and things to help me keep regular as well. Again, too much information. You must continue with all medication that we have prescribed until you get your pregnancy test result. So that's okay. Whatever the symptoms, do not do the pregnancy test until your due date. False negative or false positive results occur if the test is done on the incorrect date. When testing, only use a pregnancy test kit we have supplied. Keep urine sample for retesting if you're unsure about the result. And your pregnancy test date is Monday the 22nd of December. So yeah, I had the dreaded 2-week wait to go. What made it even more hard for us is the day after transfer, were monitoring the other 4 embryos that we had left. We got a call from our embryologist about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they said that unfortunately none of the other embryos were at a stage that they could freeze, so they had to discard them because it was day 6. They said it wasn't, none of them were going to make it, so all 4 were lost basically. So the only embryo we have was the one that was transferred back inside me. I was very upset by that because I had hoped that because they were doing so well that maybe we might have had some extras. But then I thought, well, at least we've got little Spot. Hopefully Spot has made his or her little home inside, and we wouldn't need the others. And I was hoping that maybe that was nature's way of saying maybe these aren't the ones that are going to be good for you, because nature has decided that maybe these ones weren't going to be the best ones anyway. So I'm hoping that that little Spot that I have is going to be okay. I did have quite a bit of cramping on the Thursday, but I wasn't sure if that was a good sign or not, because some women say that they get cramping in their early transfer, because the doctor said, or the consultant said that you can get implantation cramping and bleeding. I haven't had any bleeding that I know of, if that's possible to say, but I have had quite a few crampings and everything. So that was okay. I have been, for the past, well, it's nearly 2 weeks now, as I said, my test is tomorrow. I've been feeling quite crampy, extremely tired, like I'm getting like 8-9 hours sleep a night, plus naps in the day every now and then, and just still feeling really tired. I have lower abdominal cramps and sometimes a bit higher. I have slight back pain as well. Every now and then I catch a smell of something and it's a really, really strong smell, and it's like, what is that? Because I've been smelling all sorts of things that other people can't smell. So hopefully they're all good signs. One of the signs that I have had, which is probably the most uncomfortable, is my boobs. They are super, super sore. Like, even the slightest touch makes them feel like they're on fire. It is, sometimes it's excruciating. I had to get to the stage where I can't go without wearing a bra or a sports top or something, because not only are they sore, they've also gone up a cup size. It's like, what on earth? I've gone up a cup size already. My bra is too tight. They are sore. They feel solid and heavy. So I'm hoping that is a really good sign. But I'm also extremely bloated. My bloating hasn't gone down since my egg retrieval. In fact, if anything, it's gotten bigger. So I just have like a constant tightening of my stomach, because if I've been doing hundreds and hundreds of sit-ups, it just feels kind of tight and crampy and just a little bit uncomfortable, which isn't the nicest of things. But as I feel exhausted all the time. I was very, very naughty. On the 15th, Monday, so that was beginning of this week, I took a pregnancy test. Yeah, I couldn't cope. I wanted to, the way I was looking at it is, the only reason you get a false positive is if your HCG trigger shot, which is a pregnol, was still in your system, hopefully. So I took a pregnancy test to see if it was out of my system. I only did a cheap test, so not a brilliant one. It was still clear blue, but it was just the plus one. There was a very, like, almost non-existent plus sign there, so almost pregnant, but almost pregnant doesn't sound right, does it? But it was a very faint line, so the way I looked at it is, hopefully that means that the trigger shot's out of my system. So the only thing that should be left in my system would be HCG that I would secrete. So that was the way I was looking at it. it was also just because I wanted to do a pregnancy test, because you do go insane. I've found it so hard to concentrate on stuff. I was thinking, oh, I'll get all my hobbies done. I wanted to finish one of my scrapbooks off before I start the new year, because I was going to do my project life and that. And I didn't do any of it. I was just, my head has just been all over the place. I can't stop thinking about, oh, what if I'm pregnant? What if I'm pregnant? Oh, if I am, that would be brilliant. And I was just, I don't know, I was just going really insane, and I just needed something to do. But as I said, I've just got the constant tight feeling in my stomach, and it's just, oh, it just hurts a little bit, and my boobs are the worst bit. So, but I'm back at work. I've been back at work since 3 days after the transfer, trying to see if that'll keep my mind off of it, which to some extent it does, because we are reasonably busy, because obviously Christmas and that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic couple of weeks with regards to everything, and I do apologise that I haven't posted an update recently. I just wanted to get everything sorted. I wanted to get through most of the 2-week wait as well, before doing an update, and just because I wanted to see how everything goes. As I said, even if you've got a hobby plan to do, it is difficult to try and keep your mind off of everything that you're hoping's going on inside. It's just nerve-wracking. So we've got a home pregnancy test to do that the hospital provide us with, but I've also got a clear blue digital one as a backup, just in case. So first thing in the morning tomorrow I will be doing my tests. Let's see, I noticed tests, so not one, I'll do 2, just to be on the safe side. I want to know. And then regardless of what the result is, we need to let our hospital know, just to see what the next step would be. Hopefully it'll be a positive sign, and I get to go up to the hospital and go, yay, when can I come in for my 6-week scan? And just be really happy. So I'm trying to stay positive. That's probably the only thing I can do at the moment, is try and keep positive and happy. As I'm eating lots of fruit and vegetables, trying to keep, and nuts. I've been eating a lot of nuts recently as well. Almonds. I've just been eating them like anything, and just really fancied almonds all the time. And I'm thirsty all the time. Even talking to you now, I feel like I need to drink a gallon of water. I mean, I'm drinking 2 litres of water in the day, and I'm taking water to bed with me as well, because I'm just so thirsty. I have been getting up like once or twice during the night to go to the toilet and have a drink anyway. So it's just been hectic, but hopefully everything that's going on are all good signs. So fingers crossed for tomorrow. I will post an update as well, hopefully as soon as possible. But please bear in mind that we've kind of got to get our heads around whatever the result is anyway. So it might not be tomorrow, it might not be for a week, it might not be till after Christmas, it might not be to the new year, but I will let you know. I promise I will post another video. As I say, it's just a little bit slow with everything. But thank you to everyone who's watching my videos and following me, and for lovely people out there who've commented as well. Especially to, I think it was Nikki, she posted a comment asking, oh, I hope you're okay and everything. Thank you for that. It's really nice to know that people are out there thinking of me, and I think of all the people out there that are going through what I'm going through and what others are going through as well, and I just wish the best for all of you, obviously myself included. But hopefully everything will go alright, and we'll have our Christmas wishes, which hopefully I'll find out tomorrow. So I will give you an update as soon as possible. But thank you for watching. I'm sorry again, it's a long video and I haven't updated, so I do apologise. But thank you so much. And if I don't speak to you before, have a lovely Christmas. Thank you.